Hi, my name is Nadav Lapid, and I hope you will say yes to my film, yes.
Thank you so much for joining Five Questions with Kino Lorber. We're here to talk about your absolutely unforgettable film, Yes. So I
Thanks a
just
lot.
have five questions for you. We can just get started. So your film is, obviously a very fearless satire on modern Israel, and some of the scenes you tip into surrealism, even absurdism. But I feel like the wildest element of the film is actually not satire at all, right? The song that Yud is commissioned to write is actually based on a real song with the disturbing lyrics and everything. So, can you talk to us a little bit about that and how you were able to blur the lines of satire and reality and what message that sends?
I know, I think that we all live, I feel that we all live in a totally chaotic world. I think that we all share on a daily basis, this feeling that everything that looked to us unthinkable, unimaginable, totally unreal, hallucinating became like a daily routine. So, 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 so. In a way, I feel like that. I didn't do anything. I just pointed my camera to the madness, or I responded to the madness of life with madness of cinema. But I don't see any other way of doing it. Truly, for me, it's harder to understand a lot of sterile movies that I see around me that I feel as if they try to take out of reality this mixture between, as you say, between satire and reality, between the most daily and the most and the craziest, which became our life.
I mean, the truth is often stranger than fiction. Like real life is often stranger
Yeah,
than
I mean, I
satire.
mean, I mean, I mean, I mean, you as American, I guess so well what I'm talking about today. Come on. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't want to say things that will avoid me from getting to the US, and already the fact that I need to say it, it's a part of the madness.
No,
But
but it's true.
yeah,
It's like sometimes you look at the headlines and you're like, you can't write stranger fiction. You can't make this up. Like
yeah.
it's craziness.
I mean, your life is the wildest film haven't done and haven't unfortunately done yet by David Lynch and will not be done. But you know,
Yeah, sometimes I don't know if you've seen those memes, but someone put a sticker over their window. It says directed by David Lynch, and they're like, suddenly life seems to make a lot more sense now. This crazy world
totally,
seems to
totally,
make more
totally,
sense.
totally, totally, totally.
Well, you wrote your film before October 7th, and it almost took a very different path. You almost shot it in the US. So how much of the story and the script and your process changed after October 7th?
It, of course, I modified things, but it hasn't changed so much, and that's what in a way enabled me to you know uh, the day after the October 7th, I was in Paris. I was watching the images. I was reading the news, talking to my family, my friends living in Israel. Of course, I was shocked, and that's at such a moment under the shock you feel that art is useless, that cinema is useless, that your film is useless. But when I start a few days later, I went there to see things with my own eyes, and and in parallel, I was reading again the script, and everything was there. I think this the, this society addicted to worshiping only money and power, addicted to vulgarity, despising any sense of sensitivity, of doubts, of hesitations. Society with no opposition, where everyone is shouting together the same hymn, the same anthem, the same yes. All of this was there, all of this was there, and all of this can easily said today also about, for instance, all. distance. It could have been shot also in New York or in LA, but but I think that October. Let's say I'll say it differently. The genesis of the film, the first image I had in mind was this painting by George Gross, and this which appears in the movie. This painting by George Gross, painted in Germany in 26. George Gross is painting the describing the pillars of Germany's society back then on the eve of the rise of Nazi to power. And the painting, of course, is a very grotesque and caricatural, but of course, at the end, it was very truthful, because he was one of the only ones who saw already how we look, what will be the depth of this moral abyss, how hell will look like. And I think that let's say that in the I feel for a certain time, and this was one of the reasons that I wrote Yes in the first place, was this feeling of being on the edge of hell, on the edge of the moral abyss. And so, in a way, the only thing that happened with 7th of October and the terrible Gaza war, the terrible genocide, is that reality made another step and fell down, or sinked in this moral abyss. But all the potential, all the terrible, all the terrifying, all the perverted and obscene potential existed before, and existed also in the script.
I see.
And I think another thing, I think that at the same time, in the original script and also in the actual script, there was this dimension of a love film, of a film about love, of a film about. I mean, on this extent, I think that Yes is a very romantic film. Not also, yeah, not only like it's romantic, being romantic in our day, being romantic in a filthy, polluted reality where yourself you become filthy and become polluted, and the love is polluted as well, and everything that is romantic becoming horrifying. But it's very romantic on the sense of romantic love, but also because inside there's a kind of desperate and totally hopeless and failing, but quest for redemption.
Mm. I mean, I think it's a very multi-dimensional film. It's very hard to pinpoint it or categorize it into one thing, and that's why we love
Mm.
it. Music also plays a very big role in the film. And at times it's almost like a cacophony of very different genres. Like you have very poppy songs, you have heavy metal in one scene, you have Elvis and piano. How did you choose the songs and what were you trying to evoke with this almost like clashing of sounds?
Yeah, I mean, clashes of sound, literally, because as you know, I mean, one of the first scenes of the movie is a clash between "Be My Lover," a kind of cheesy, huge techno hit by La Bouche from the 90s, and "Love Me Tender" by Elvis, like maybe the most romantic song ever. So I mean, you know how sounds "Be My Lover," you know how sounds "Love Me Tender," but you don't know how they sound when you play them together. So this is a kind of almost an experiment. But I can't totally figure out from where come my obsession to music and to dances. I'm not an exceptional dancer myself, for instance. I don't know where does it come from, and in this movie is almost a musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, what I can say is that in my movies, in the musical scenes, people they dance and they sing themselves. Like, when this couple is dancing catch-up song in early in the morning, while drinking their coffee, I feel, that they try to dance themselves. They try to declare themselves. They try to say something. They try to say, although we live in the heart of the obscenity and the perversion. Although we live in the heart of this horrifying things, although we take part in it, although we are like clowns and prostitutes, we have our small island of beauty. And in a way that's what I feel that they dance, for instance, and you know, and the head of staff, the chief of the army, is shouting with his generals, "Love me tender," is like, you know, it's like, love me tender and let's burn Gaza. I mean, so people they you know, I'm like, I don't know how to, I'm a romantic killer. I don't know, but people they declare themselves, they dance themselves, they sing themselves, and this is I think something the role, the unusual role of music in the film.
And that opening scene is one of the most memorable, just, like, yeah, amazing, brilliant opening scenes I've seen in I don't know how long. And speaking of that, actually, the acting in this film is transcendent. I think most actors are usually very technical or they're very naturalistic, but your cast was something else entirely. How did you find this cast and how did you work with them to kind of like capture these very, very memorable, unique performances?
I found them one by one, each one differently. Like the main why Ariel Bonds is a avant-garde performer. Like he kind of the prince of avant-garde of Tel Aviv, which means that I don't know. There are around 50 people who know him, but they worship him. They admire him. So and Fado, Nama Price, there are actresses, and then so each one was found differently, but I think there was I think we were all taken by this, you know, I mean, one should also understand that we were shooting the film in the middle of the war, like the shooting began on the 7th of October 2024, so it was really the you know, the peak of the war. And we were all taken by a feeling of I mean, there wasn't any way but going till the end, to the edge, and jumping from the hill, jumping from the mountain. There was nothing. We were all feeling as if each day is the last day. Last day, not only of the shooting, this was also a possibility, but last day in general. There was a kind of, you know, when you know, I think there are very, I'll say differently, in the history of cinema, I think there are very few movies who were like shot in the middle of the horror and that are totally fictionalized. I'm not talking about, you know, a documentary or you want and and the what surrounded us penetrated. It's not even it was already always there. So we didn't leave anything behind. You know, the when I mean when you feel that tomorrow is already only a hypothetical thing. So maybe that's the way you act.
Wow. I was actually shocked to find that to learn that he only had three credits. Ariel Bronze, he only had three credits, including this film, because he was such a natural. But I guess, like you were saying, the circumstances of reality maybe really helped bring that performance out.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Can you talk a little bit about the title, Yes? Because, this is clearly, a very strong critique against Israeli nationalism, the ruling class, but there's no protest in the film because all the characters say yes to everything. So how were you able to make a film of resistance around the word yes?
I mean, there's something kind of paradox, but in the sense that it's a punk film about submission. I mean the main character is very submissive, or everyone is very submissive, and everyone is shouting together yes. But the film itself is very punk, and is in a way the camera shouts no. Um, I think that throughout all my career, I was doing career. I don't like this word. Throughout all my path, cinematic path of my life, I was doing like films. I was like felt that my films were in a way synonyms of no, the word no. All my protagonists were people of no, and in a way I think that cinema is based on people which who say no. I mean, I think that all the American cinema or the Westerns, are based on this person who turns his back to the village and going on his horse, the one who refuses, the one who doesn't accept, the one who but I mean, for me, the main, the most imminent, and the most essential mission of art and of cinema is to feel the pulse of this actual moment. And I think that we live in a moment where resistance, opposition, and of course, I mean, resistant artists. It's a kind of it's a concept which in a way belongs, I think, to the past. I mean, I think it's a kind of archaic concept. I think it's a kind of I mean, we should the period is changing so fast, and we cannot analyze it with intellectual or artistic or political tools of the past. I think we are old, like we live in such a storm, and we are all drawn inside the storm, and we don't know anymore what we mumble. We try to mumble things that look to us right without having a real belief in our capacity to create an effect. And in a way, I think they know that I felt that the only way to talk about the boots which are crushing us is by licking them. And the only way to talk about this topic, but not this topic, very, very at the end, very, very, very concrete reality is by accepting it, by approving it, by saying yes.
Submitting. And the licking
Yeah.
boots imagery is I mean, that is very, you know, that's submission, right? I don't know if you were inspired by BDSM, but that is like a very, very iconic image of BDSM is licking the boots. So, and I love the concept of it's punk rock to say no, but it's also punk rock to say yes. No is a powerful word, but yes is just as powerful.
I totally agree. There's something in like throwing yourself I mean, there's something in this yes. This yes is a kind of suicidal yes, because I mean, you say yes, and you fall from the sky, from the skyscraper. You say yes, and you jump to the stormy ocean.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we love the film so much. And thank you so much for joining Five Questions with Kino Lorber, and best of luck with all of with the film and everything.